Hi there, it's Richie here, and today I have a rundown of the consumer version of the Oculus Rift virtual reality system, along with the PC that I'm currently testing it with, a VR-ready Asus Republic of Gamers G20 desktop PC. Let's check it all out. The Oculus Rift is made up of two main components, the headset here, which includes headphones, and the headset tracker. Now there's also two controllers, a small Oculus remote for selection and volume control, plus a Microsoft Xbox controller for gaming. Now if you've been trying out the Gear VR that uses a Samsung phone or even Google Cardboard, you'll have an idea what it's like to peer into the virtual world. But what makes the Oculus Rift so much more immersive is that it can track your position in space. See, on all the apps that you play on the Gear VR, you're kind of stuck as a sort of head on a stick, and you can move it all around. But the instant you move forward or left and right, it feels sickening because that move isn't replicated in the content. You're still stuck in the same place. With the Oculus Rift, you can move your head side to side, back and forth, and the positional tracker sends that info to the app you're in, and you can actually move around in 3 dimensions in that environment. There's no sickness, and your brain is fooled and, of course, more at ease because the visual information is in line with your head's constant movement. Of course, due to the tracking and the much higher frame rates that also help your eyes and inner ear from freaking out, you are constantly tethered to the computer, which is the other big difference between the Gear VR and Oculus Rift. Now, you can take your Gear VR with you anywhere, but you do need a PC with a massive amount of grunt to even fire up the Oculus Rift. It is that graphics intensive. Now, today we're hooked up to the Asus G20 desktop. As you can see, it's a very small form factor, and for a gamer, or in my case, someone that loves the VR experience, the design is very Star Trek, something maybe perhaps what the Borg would create. It packs a huge punch inside. Now, this runs at an Intel i7 3.4 gig with 16 gigs of RAM with an Nvidia GeForce GTX 980. Now, why does it need such a beast of a system? Well, the two eye displays have a resolution of 2160 by 1200. Now, multiply that by 90 frames a second, and you get over 200 million pixels that need to be rendered per second. Now, Oculus actually has a standard that takes it to over 400 million pixels a second. The reason I like the G20 is not just that it looks visually awesome from a design standpoint, it actually also has a very small footprint. See, with the Oculus, there's no way you could have the rig sitting under your desk. It really needs to be right up there on the table for the cables to be long enough to allow you the freedom of movement. Plus, of course, you have instant access to all the ports. Now, one thing that told me this was going to be a serious performance machine right out of the box was the power supply. Now, this uses up two power points on my board and is seriously as heavy as a brick. Now, the G20 is also quite solid. It sits firmly on your desk at over 6 kilos, and it doesn't need to sit near your router. It comes with a wireless connection, but especially with the Rift titles coming at over 1 gigabyte download each time, I would definitely recommend the Ethernet connection. Where the front of the G20 is all design and cool light shows, the back is all business. There's more USB ports, you can poke a stick out, and the graphics card has 3 display ports and 1 HDMI output. So what I've done is used one of the display ports to connect to the monitor, and then the HDMI needs to be connected to the Oculus Rift headset. Now, the positional tracker connects to a USB port, and the headset, of course, also uses a USB port as well. Then you've got a wireless dongle for the Xbox controller. Now, personally, I think using a traditional gaming controller in VR takes away some of that sense of being in the environment. And I know that Oculus, of course, will be releasing hand controllers down the track, and I really do hope they come soon. That will be the last piece of the puzzle for Rift gaming and in-app control. So the big question, how does this pocket rocket of an Asus PC handle the intense graphics requirements of the Rift titles? Like a champion. There is an instantaneous response to head movement. There's no chopping or stutter in any of the apps I tried, and my eyes can't detect any flicker on the headset screen at all. So it's flashing at my eyes at a constant 90 frames a second. If you're looking for a solid PC to support your brand new VR requirements, then the Asus G20 would have to be on your list. Its futuristic design looks the part, and of course it can double as a overpowered home office workstation, and it has a small enough footprint to sit on even small desks such as mine. So let me know what else you'd like to know about the Oculus Rift and the Asus G20 in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and until next time.